All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is JP. I am the host of this live stream. I'm joined by my best friend and, frankly, most knowledgeable person when it comes to Pokemon that I know, Colton. So, what this
No.
is over the last month, I have been doing polls. I constructed a bracket for the Kanto region. Um, and I've been conducting polls over the last month as to who people think would win. Um, so we're going to be discussing the results of that bracket today. So here is that bracket. For those of you who have not followed March Madness, the way it works is there's the various rounds. In this case, there's a play-in round or a play-in round for a few of the Pokemon to get into the main point of the bracket, and we're going to start with that, which is the Farfetch'd and Ditto, Clefable Hypno, Electrode and Pidgeot, and Beedrill and Butterfree. So most of these rounds were fairly uneventful, I feel like. I, I guess I should also point out the way that I determined the seeding is I went through and it was based off of all the Pokemon's base stat totals. So your number one seeds, Dragonite, Snorlax, Arcanine, and Gyarados, obviously, are the four with the base stats, so on and so forth. And that was split through various regions of the Kanto region. So yeah, without any further ado, so in this first round, Colton, were there anything that stood out to you before revealing the results of it?
As far as our Farfetch'd and Ditto and those ones, or
Yeah.
oh yeah, okay. Not really. The only really interesting one here, well, I guess two would be the Clefable and Hypno, and the Beedrill and Butterfree. Just because the Clefable and Hypno, I feel like would just be putting each other to sleep constantly. And it would just be this long drawn out thing. I think the only thing that really helps out is Clefable is so freaking bulky and has access to more healing than Hypno does.
Mm-hmm.
But the Beedrill and Butterfree, like that's poetic. If you think back to like the anime and the fact that you can catch them both in the same place, it's fantastic to see those two paired up against each other. So
Agreed. I mean, when I was putting this together and I saw that and it was just like that's just perfect. I mean, chef's kiss.
yeah,
But when I saw Electrode and Pidgeot, I was just like, anyone else, that bird might stand a chance, but Electrode,
it's too fast.
It's too fast. It's got that lightning. It just there's
Well,
no.
but I mean, to be fair, like we got to give some spotlight on Farfetch'd and Ditto just because they are two of the most awkward Pokemon.
Very true. Very true.
you know, and I just find it funny because Ditto can transform into the Farfetch'd, but can't hold the item that it has to go in holding the item Farfetch'd has in order to get any boosts.
Mm-hmm.
Have an edge. Otherwise, that Farfetch'd has all the edge because of the stick.
Yep. Oh, jeez. So As far as the results for it, unsurprisingly, Farfetch had its way with Ditto, with 68% of the vote. It was the same with Clefable and Hypno. Clefable knocked Hypno off with, again, 68%. With Pidgeot and Electrode, I've got a feeling some people might have thought, okay, who do I like more based on the voting? But Electrode decimated the bird with 84% of the vote. And then Beefrill, pardon the slip, Beedrill and Butterfree did in fact turn out close, with 55% of the vote for Beedrill and 45% for Butterfree. So there's all of that. So as we continue with these brackets, oh shoot, that was a goof up on my part. I need to fix that because I'm covering up Dragonite. We don't want that. No, that's not right.
We really don't need to follow Dragonite. We all know what's going to happen.
Hey now.
Everybody can see the Farfetch next to Dragonite. Yeah.
There we go. All right. So, yeah.
Although I do got to say, and we had a conversation when you first brought this up and live streaming this with Beedrill and Butterfree, like, and something I thought about for a while, because Butterfree does get access to Confusion, which would be super effective. But there's two things that I think held it back. Was one, it's not a stab move for Butterfree. One, and for two, Butterfree's offensive stats are horrific.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the best it could hope for is getting paralysis or sleep onto the Beedrill, whereas the Beedrill can poison the Butterfree.
Yeah.
The Beedrill is just, it's not a hugely impressive attack stat, but compared to Butterfree, it's a lot better.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about that.
Plus, I mean, poison compared to paralysis or sleep is going to be much more detrimental than anything else Butterfree could throw at it.
Yeah. Very fair point, and no arguments from me. I should also say some of the stipulations, or some of the stipulations I gave with the voting is that it was in fact who people thought would win the fight, but then it was who they thought would win the fight with an optimal moveset, but not factoring in Mega Evolutions, Dynamaxes, Gigantamaxes, anything like that. Just max level, no items, nothing like that. Just as is.
I still think, though, even if you had a Mega Beedrill against a Gigantamax Butterfree.
I'm not arguing the point. I just figured I should clarify that for anyone watching, just in case.
Yeah, no. But good. It's good to point that out because this is, and I forgot. Were we doing held items?
No items.
Held items. So this is just okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, all right, moving on to the Celadon Gym, where Dragonite is the number 1 seed. Unsurprisingly, it absolutely annihilated Farfetch'd. The poor bird, again, just didn't stand a chance. But I almost wonder if this was a pity vote, because it was 97% for Dragonite with 3% for Farfetch'd. So,
like I said, how many people voted?
We'll keep that kind of quiet. We'll let Farfetch'd have its moment of glory.
It got a lucky critical in a couple shots. So.
And the second match of Victory Bell and Vileplume, this one, I think this one was kind of an interesting one, because in all reality, they're 2 peas in a pod. both grass poison, both not the best stats wise. And I mean, it showed because it was with a vote of 51% to 49%. Victory Bell snuck through.
Yeah. They virtually had the same move pool.
Exactly. That one, the edge, I think, comes down to speed for Victory Bell.
Not to mention attack.
True. I ran a couple just because I was curious. I ran after I did my voting. I ran those two through a battle simulator, and yeah, the speed was what made the ultimate difference.
Yeah.
So, Polyrath and Hitmonlee. Polyrath won that one 72% to 28. Tentacruel and Jinx. Personally, I was pulling for Tentacruel.
I mean, I would too. Tentacruel's a freaking cool Pokemon.
I know. But yeah, and it was actually a pretty close vote.
Well, I think with that one in particular, you have Safeguard with Jinx.
Mm-hmm.
So all status conditions are out the window as soon as it gets Safeguard up.
Yeah. And not only that, but you got Tentacruel being a poison type, and Jinx just one psychic move. And
not to mention, I think it gets access to a number of electric type moves.
I think you're right.
It used to get access to Thunder Punch, and before they did the physical special split, it was actually really good.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, so Tentacruel did get upset by Jinx in that one with a vote of 55 to 45.
That's still pretty close, though.
It was still close, which made me happy because I like the jellyfish. But and then Pinsir and Kingler, you got your two Vice Grip Mons going up face to face. But again, we had seeding wise, we had an upset. I'm not surprised that Kingler won it. 59% to 41%. I mean, that's just the Crabs got better stats in my opinion, and it's going to withstand Pinsir.
It's like 150 attack or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah.
It's like or 120. It's incredibly high compared to Pinsir. I mean, and the funny thing is they both have their Oko moves. They both get guillotine. But outside of that, you got Crab Hammer, which is a nasty move, which has a higher hit rate than guillotine would.
Yep.
So. I feel bad for the Gen 1 bugs. They really get shafted a lot.
I would agree. I would 100% agree. And then Cloyster and Arbok, I don't think anybody's surprised by this, that Cloyster won it 76 to 24%. Now, this one was another interesting one for me. Muck and Raichu. This is, yes, I will admit, this is me looking more at the show than anything else. But I think of Ash's Muck and just how anything it fought, it just consumed it basically. And
I mean, if we did anime rules, that would change a lot of these battles, though.
I will say, for some people, the anime may be their only reference, which is fair. So I'm not completely negating it because there are going to be people in that sort of a situation. But so, I mean, I couldn't help but just have that in the back of my mind when I voted because of it.
Well, the thing is that Raichu has been brought to World Championships. Muck hasn't. Alolan Muck has been brought into World Championships. Not a huge win rate, but Raichu went farther. And granted, yeah, it had the other parts of the team, but it still carried a lot. My big thing, even if you go off anime rules, Raichu has dig.
Yeah. Valid point.
And just remember the Sandshrew versus Butterfree battle. Dig is overpowered.
Uh-huh. Valid. So with the voting, that it was close. It was another one of those that it was 51-49 in favor of Raichu. So, and then Flareon and Tangela, I mean, we don't even need to talk about that.
That's just lopsided. That was unfair.
Again, I think somebody might have given a pity vote to it. Actually, I'm kind of suspicious because I know there was one person at least, I'll talk about that when we get over to Saffron. But so moving on to Fuchsia where Arcanine's the number 1 seed. Again, we don't need to talk much. Arcanine and Beedrill.
Yeah.
Not a question. It was 97-3 again.
Legendary Doggo, Big B.
Yeah. I'll take the dog any day in more ways than one. Magmar and Slowbro. Again, kind of a situation of if you think about it, you don't really have to think about it. Slowbro just wrecked Magmar with an 83% of the vote.
I thought it had the 90s on that one.
Yeah. Machamp and Magneton. Again, that one's pretty self-explanatory. Fighting Steel. Yeah, fighting's going to win 90% of the time, 99% of the time. Mm-hmm. Machamp won it 93-7. Aerodactyl and Hitmonchan. This one could have been interesting, except Fly.
And Skydrop.
That too.
But that one is very much Hitmonchan has Thunder Punch to rely on, and that's about it.
Yeah. And Aerodactyl says, "You can't reach me." So yeah, Aerodactyl won that one 83-17. Gengar and Dugong. I'm not surprised by this, but Gengar just wiped the floor with Dugong. 93% of the vote. Similar situation with Venusaur and Persian.
Yeah.
Venusaur just annihilated the poor kitty. Then Rapidash and Rhydon. Again, kind of a no-brainer. With Rhydon winning it. Rhydon got 83% of the votes. And the last matchup in Fuchsia.
There were 17% of the votes thought Rapidash could win.
Uh-huh.
I guess it does get like Horn Drill, right?
Yeah. It does get some pretty solid moves. So if it can withstand by some miracle one hit from Rhydon, then maybe. But no, yeah.
I mean, Rhydon just has everything going for it. Rock, ground, and then it can learn Surf. Like,
I mean, Rhydon is the ultimate utility, in my opinion, because you do have the fact that it's rock and ground, but then it can learn Surf. It can learn Thunder to deal with its water weakness.
Yeah.
It can learn.
If it was Rhydon and Dugong, I feel like that would have been a much closer draw. I still would have given it to Rhydon though.
Mm-hmm.
I just like Rhydon though.
I'm in the same boat.
But I've also tried to use Dugong before. I've used both of them in playthroughs, and Rhydon, superb performance. Dugong, I ditched it after I got it, essentially. Like,
Yeah,
it's just not a very good on the output.
and I mean, when they gave us the dugong for the Pokemon Go national title, they gave it as a timed research for people who watched the stream for it. The dugong was just it was garbage. So I was like, come on, why not give us something semi decent at least? But yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think there's been a world where Dugong's been usable,
no,
and it's been left in the dust. But it,
I mean, I can think of one world where would be usable, and that's SeaWorld, but that's probably about it.
well, anyways,
Speaking of the sea, we have our last one with Blastoise and Wigglytuff. Blastoise won that with 93%.
and that one just made me think of the anime
Mm-hmm.
wholeheartedly. The Jigglypuff getting stuck in Blastoise's cannon.
Yep.
And nothing got through his shell, so I'm like, there's nothing Wigglytuff can do. It puts it to sleep. He goes in his shell.
Yep. So, all right, moving on to Saffron with number 1 seed, my boy Gyarados. Yes, for those of you who are watching and do not know, Gyarados is my favorite Pokemon, always will be. I will always consider it the best. I don't care what anyone says. It is a dragon.
And its heart where it matters.
Shush. And this is the point I was going to bring up with those pity vote possibilities. I know for a fact someone told me they were voting for Doug Trio just because Gyarados is my favorite Pokemon. And that was the only vote for Doug Trio. So Gyarados should be our first 100%er.
I mean, to be fair, Smackdown Fissure.
I mean,
it is a 0.0000001% chance of that actually coming out, but it can happen.
Yeah.
Not to mention Doug Trio is faster than Gyarados.
Well, Doug Trio is faster than a lot of things.
Which is surprising for a ground type, but...
Right? But, so for all intents and purposes, Gyarados should be our first 100%, except for that. But yeah, it was... one vote went against it. Kabutops and Tauros. Yes, this one was one this was another one I thought was really interesting. And I voted for Tauros with this, as much as I like Kabutops, just because Tauros can learn fighting type moves, which will knock off the rock and Kabutops. It can learn Trailblaze, which is a 4 times quadruple damage to Kabutops. But what thinks you with that one?
It's hard because I'm trying to remember who I voted for. I can't remember if I voted for Kabutops or not. I think I voted Kabutops on this one. The thing is that Tauros's normal typing is what brings it down, I think, compared to the rock typing, and which is where a lot of people are thinking at. Move pool wise, Kabutops doesn't have a whole lot of move set things going on for itself, but it does have access to Swift Swim. So if the rain's up, it's moving first, and its water type attacks are hitting harder. Yeah. And Aqua Jet can really just round out the fight for it and get it one up on Tauros. And I think base form Tauros, not Paldean or any of the different breeds of Tauros, just doesn't have enough going behind it in order to overcome the fallbacks that it has from being just a normal type.
Mm-hmm. And the voting did show that. Kabutops won with 66% of the vote. Nidoking and Mr. Mime was surprisingly close.
I'm rather
Mr.
disappointed in everybody letting Mr. Mime win. That one should have been 100% on Nidoking. I don't care if he's psychic type. He's part fairy. Nidoking is super effective against this thing, and Mr. Mime is terrible.
Yep. For the record, I voted Nidoking, so don't disown me, Kolton.
Oh, I did too. I know I did for a fact.
Yeah.
And it's not because creepy mime or anything like that. I just personally don't like Mr. Mime.
But Nidoking did get upset by Mr. Mime, with Mr. Mime getting 51% of the vote. Starmie and Sandslash, that one's no shocker. Starmie beat it 83%. Alakazam plowed through Electrode with 86%. Vaporeon beat Fearow with 93%. Golduck over Weezing with 80%.
It's just because Weezing exploded.
Probably. And the fact Golduck can learn Psychic type moves.
It isn't Psychic type. You want to talk about upsetting that a Pokemon's not a specific type? Let's talk about Golduck and Psyduck.
It's in its name. Psyduck.
Well, not just that, but gold is what do you call it? Like not alchemical symbol for psychic powers.
Mm-hmm.
And they put it in its freaking name. It hasn't gotten anything.
Uh-huh.
A new form, a new evolution, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Kanto's got a few Pokemon that have gotten shafted, I feel like. I mean, Golduck, Arbok, I feel like, could use some love. The Niddos need some love. But, anywho.
Hero, too, but.
Yeah. So the last match in Saffron's gym was between Charizard and Marowak. I mean, yeah, Marowak might have... Actually, no, because Charizard being flying negates the ground. So
yeah.
And Charizard's just got too much attack power for Marowak to resist.
Solar Beam.
Yeah.
I mean, Marowak gets some rock moves, but it's just, unless it has the Bone Club, it's not really doing much.
Yeah. So, and then on to the last of the first round. In Viridian City, we have Snorlax and Parasect, which Snorlax won with 90%. Omastar and Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan won that one, 69% to 31%. Nidoqueen handled Dodrio fairly easily, 80% to 20%. Executor just obliterated Seeking. I don't think anybody's surprised by that. 97 to 3.
There was somebody that really thought that Seeking could win a fight.
I'm kind of guessing that's another one of those, someone was voting for which one they liked more. That's my guess.
For anybody watching, if you actually like Seeking, like this is a Pokemon you would put on your team, please say something in the comments, because I have never met anybody that likes Seeking.
Yeah, I mean, I would never want to use it in battle. I mean, I'm a water type person, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, my ideal team is a water-based team, but I would never want Seeking on my team.
It's just a fish with a horn, man. Like,
yeah. And then Ninetales handled Clefable fairly easily with 83 to 17%.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
It has to. I bet it has to do with the fairy into the fire, and just popularity with Ninetales compared to Clefable. Probably.
Jolteon was the first actual voted 100%er. You know who you are who voted for Dugtrio. Dishonor on you and your whole family and your cow. Um,
And there's something funny with that, though. I wonder if some people got confused. Venomoth's not a flying type; it is a bug poison type.
mhm.
So anybody that was voting because they're like, oh, Jolteon's super effective against Venomoth, it's not.
Yeah, but I mean, Jolteon would have won anyway.
No, I know, but personally, that being the 100% win is highly strange to me.
And it's not the lone 100%er, but it's no, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Golem, unsurprisingly, just demolished Electabuzz, 90%, 10%.
See, that should have been 100%.
I agree. And then Lapras was the other one that got 100% over Eradicate. So that was it for the first round.
Although I do have to note something on the Lapras and Eradicate really quick, is I wonder how many people voted against Eradicate because Ash traded his Butterfree for Eradicate, and all the kids when we were growing up were just super upset about that and decided unanimously Eradicate deserves his hate.
Valid, and I mean Lapras was a fan favorite of everyone with Ash.
Yeah, no. All of Orange Islands, man.
Exactly. So I could see that logic.
Yeah.
So, but moving on to the second round, we've got a few more interesting matches here. Dragonite Victory Bell, again, not much to say. Dragonite Victory Bell doesn't stand a chance. That one was 90% to 10%.
That's fair, I think.
Taking place in the power plant, so Dragonite being right at home with all the electricity.
I want to be at home with the electricity.
It's the freaking Thunder Dragon.
Dragonite?
I just think Lance and his flipping Dragonite.
Oh, because of the Thunderbolts and
Yeah.
Well, you got to realize though, Lance, his Dragonites all had a different move.
I know, but that.
But I can understand.
I'll talk about it when we get to later rounds. What I'm referring to when I say that, because I don't want to spoil anything for down the road. But,
okay.
So the second match between Poliwrath and Jinx was actually semi-close. Jinx pulled the upset off, 57 to 43%. Kingler and Cloyster. This one was fun, in my opinion.
Yes.
You had the impenetrable object against
unstoppable force.
So some of these, I swear, it was just fate lined them up, and it was beautiful.
I would say what would give Cloyster its best advantage was its weakness against Kingler, because Kingler gets fighting type moves as the ice type. So Cloyster is double reverse that. Ice is resisted by water. I was a retard there for a second, excuse me. But I think that but still, going to my point, that Kingler gets fighting type moves, and still I think that's what gives it the edge.
Yeah, I would agree. Sorry, my tablet turned off on me.
No, you're good. I don't know why I was reversing the order of that.
Yeah.
But once again, we have two Mons lined up that learn Oko moves with Guillotine on Kingler and Cloyster getting Sheer Cold.
So, but yeah. For that one, the voting did go to Kingler. I almost said Cloyster. I almost misread. Kingler pulled off the upset, 61% to 39%. And I'm realizing that I messed up.
Yep. I just saw that.
Yep. I mean, I don't think it makes much of a difference because I've got a feeling Flareon would have beat Raichu anyway.
Do you? I don't think so. I don't think so. If it beat Muck, I think it would beat Flareon.
Yeah. It was close. So.
Not that it would get much farther up, but yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Whoopsies.
all right. Yep. I made a mistake. And hopefully that doesn't happen in Johto. But
better not. My boy's in there.
I know he is.
If he falls off because you make a mistake.
I don't think it's going to be close enough for there to be a mistake made with Tyranitar. So,
hey, you weren't supposed to out him. Now people know. And now people will try to disprove me.
we'll see. I don't think so. He's a fan favorite, so I think he's not in too bad a shape.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, the voting for this did go to Flareon over Muck. I think Flareon probably would have beat Raichu anyway. So I don't think it really makes a difference. But yes, that was a mistake on my part. So we'll just pretend that didn't happen because I can't go 3 weeks into the past and fix that mistake. Moving on to Pokemon Tower in Lavender Town, we've got Arcanine and Slowbro, which I think I voted for Slowbro personally, but Arcanine does have a case for itself, I feel like, just because it is so strong.
Yeah.
And it learns Dark-type moves, if I'm remembering right.
It gets
Crunch, among others.
I think that's the only one it gets.
Well, it's a pretty good Dark-type move against Slowbro's Psychic, but Slowbro's...
It's so bulky.
That's what I was...
If anybody here can remember the Cinderace event in Scarlet and Violet, you could only really beat that frickin' Cinderace with a Slowbro.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a Life Orb on it. You had Iron Defense, and I can't remember the other move. There was another one to boost its special attack, and then why can't I think of the name of the attack now? It's the one that you use, and the more stat boosts that you have, the more damage it does. It pretty much just nuked the Cinderace.
Yeah.
So Slowbro, even with a Dark-type move on Arcanine, it's not stab. And aside from a crit going through any buffs that Slowbro puts onto its defenses, it's just going to sit there. And then it's going to go nuclear on Arcanine's butt. Like, there's nothing Arcanine could really do to outmaneuver it.
No. We had Pokemario who just commented Arcanine can get Wild Charge, and they took down Water type with Arcanine because of it. No, we're not arguing that Arcanine can't put up a fight. It's just Slowbro's too dang bulky.
Yeah.
To really withstand. Yeah, you put the type difference and Slowbro's bulk, it's just not enough. And the results showed that with Slowbro getting 62% of the vote. We got Machamp and Aerodactyl, which Flying Dinosaur just outspeeds and outclasses the Rock.
I mean, let's be real here, though. Aerodactyl going against two premier fighting type mons back to back is just an unfair advantage for it to move up the ladder.
Hey, yes, I made the bracket, but I didn't choose the seeding. The stats did that for me. So
I get it, but I just think it's hilarious that it has the biggest advantage at the very beginning.
yeah. So Gengar and Venusaur. This one was one I thought was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It wasn't close as far as the vote, but it was an interesting matchup in my opinion. I could see it going either way.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and we know where this is going to go, but it's thinking of move sets and everything. I'm wildly surprised too, because I wouldn't think it would end up going that way.
Yeah,
personally.
yeah. I mean, it is kind of fitting though with where this fighting took place.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it fits that Gengar would win in its home turf, and Pokemon Tower, but it got 76% of the vote.
I think that comes down to a preference again.
Probably.
Anything.
Realistically.
But it also goes to show you that ghosts need like their own ambient thing, like sunshine or rain or something. Like they need something.
Yeah. I would agree with that because I mean, with grass, you've got doesn't Sunny Day help grass? If I remember right, with Solar Beam.
It helps Solar Beam and Solar Blade.
Yeah.
Are the two moves. Otherwise,
obviously, it helps fire. You've got rain that'll help with water types and thunder.
Yeah, and hurricane.
Hurricane.
So, and the thing that I'm like, that perplexed me is Venusaur gets earth power. Gengar doesn't have levitate anymore. Gengar is no longer immune to ground type attacks. Venusaur, and how frail Gengar is, and I mean Venusaur's not like superb on the special attack spectrum, but it's passable. Like Venusaur has carried people throughout different VGC eras, and I would give this one personally to Venusaur 9 times out of 10, just because Gengar is really frail.
Yeah, it's a glass cannon.
Yeah, like if it's just with the bulk on Venusaur and the ability it has to be able to regen itself, I would personally give it over Venusaur. But you know, the votes are the votes.
Yeah. And I mean, I can see where people come from with Gengar. So, and then we got another. I mean, it's a no-brainer with Rhydon and Blastoise. You look like you wanted to say something.
I think it's hilarious because all I can think about is Blastoise using Surf and Rhydon's just like, all right, let's do this, and use his own Surf back. So I don't know if you played in Scarlet and Violet at all. Did you?
I haven't delved too much into Scarlet and Violet yet. No.
Okay, so in the Blueberry Academy, there in the canyon biome, there's this small little cave that has like a couple rivers coming into it, and then there's a little ring of water, and then a little central platform, a little bit of ground with a terastallized Rhydon right in the middle that has the Terra type, which means that it has all the benefits of the terastallization, but it's a callback that it can learn Surf. Because it's in the middle of all the water.
Alrighty.
Which is just ridiculous to me. But, I mean, it's Blastoise, guys. Like,
yeah. Don't worry. That the vote went that way. Blastoise swept Rhydon with 100% of the vote. So, moving on to the SSN. Back up with Gyarados going against Kabutops. This one, kind of an interesting one, but Gyarados plowed straight through it with 95% of the vote. Starmie and Mr. Mime, this one was another one. you got a couple psychic users that made it kind of interesting, in my opinion. But don't worry, the creepy clown's not sticking around for long because Starmie did finish it off. I think that just came down to it's too fast.
Yeah, and that's pretty much all it is, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Mime just no way to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Alakazam and Vaporeon. Alakazam won that one with 67% of the vote.
That's another interesting one if you think about it, because
Alakazam and Vaporeon.
Yeah, because Vaporeon's pretty dang bulky, and it's nothing to scoff at its attacking stats either.
No, it's not.
Attack. Getting access to different types of it has like the not the reflect, the other one, the special defense one.
Light screen.
Light screen. Thank you. And it has like heal bell on it too. Like, in all honesty, I picked Vaporeon in this one just because I know how it works.
Mm-hmm.
And Alakazam, just like Gengar, glass cannon.
Yeah.
If it doesn't take it out in 1 or 2 hits, it's not going to last.
It's toast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember which way I voted for that one, to be honest, but
I mean, it's fair though for Alakazam to come out on top, but
yeah, that one, either way, no judgment from me. Golduck and Charizard, that was another interesting one. I was following these results throughout the voting period, and Golduck actually had a lead on Charizard for about 80% of the time.
That's not surprising.
No, it's not. Charizard made a late game comeback, you could say. And
he's good at beating up ducks.
Yep.
Look at Magmar.
Yep. And that won it 52% to 48%. And then moving on to Rock Tunnel, Snorlax and Kangaskhan, couple of normal type tanks. I know you mentioned you wanted to talk about this one.
I love both of these guys so much. And I just want to see a Mega Kangaskhan fight a Gigantamax Snorlax.
Ooh, that would be fun.
You know how entertaining that would be?
That would be very entertaining.
And, you know, when you come down to it, you think about it, like, they're pretty on par with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Their BST is pretty close. Using Snorlax is so much fun, though.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact, I think what gives Snorlax the edge here is that it can put itself to sleep, to heal back up, and then still attack for stab with Snore. Against a normal type Kangaskhan. Like, I think that is ultimately what would give it the edge in a fight. You know, Kangaskhan, obviously, without the Mega Evolution, it has problems keeping up with something that big and bulky.
Yeah.
If it was Mega Evolution, Kangaskhan all the way.
Yeah.
Power up punch twice. Oof.
Yeah. Speaking of Kangaskhan, I've got to give a big shout out to Riversong11 on Pokemon Go for trading me a shiny Kangaskhan this week, getting me that regional. Thank you very much. So that made me very happy because I've been wanting a shiny Kangaskhan for a while. So
that's the other thing. Shiny Kangaskhan looks actually really good.
It does. So, but it was close. Snorlax squeezed past Kangaskhan 52 to 48%. And we got another close matchup with Nidoqueen and Executor. Nidoqueen just snuck past Executor, same percentages, 52 to 48. And then Ninetales and Jolteon. Ninetales got the upset with 62% of the vote.
See, that one is kind of. I feel like those two are on par with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, in my case, I gave it to Ninetales because it gets drought, so it's
Yep.
powered.
Which is who won.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I said I gave it to Ninetales.
Yeah, and that's who won. Ninetales upset Jolteon.
That's not what you have in there.
Did I really make another mistake?
You did.
Son of a. Wow. Well, that might be interesting.
So the judge was playing favorites.
The judge was not playing favorites because I voted for Ninetales too.
We see that JP really wanted Jolteon and Muck to pull through farther than
wow. I think I did. I made the next round. I was doing the updates right after work that day, so and that's probably what did it.
Hey, but this is all for fun, anyways.
True, very true.
But it's good to know that legitimately Ninetales won, but we'll say that you had an illegal move on it and disqualified it.
Can I pull? No, Gyarados doesn't need it. And then Lapras and Golem, Lapras 100% of the vote. So
that one you did not mistake.
No, I'm not mistaking. I'm not going to make that big of a mistake, sir. So
I'm just saying those mistakes could might have impacted just a little bit the next bracket.
We're going to go ahead and start at the bottom. Yeah, it did impact the next bracket. Whoops. Sorry, Lapras. My bad. So, starting in Mount Moon for the Sweet 16, yeah, the illegal move for the illegal move in favor of Jolteon did boost it past Lapras with 65% of the vote. We're not going to talk about that anymore. I'm humble enough to admit I made a mistake, proud enough to say we're not going to talk about it.
Ben Gardner says we all make mistakes. These mistakes are just happy accidents. So
I don't
if
think
there was legitimately something on the line here, then we would be concerned. But
yes.
I mean, and like Pokemario was saying with like Arcanine and Dugtrio in there is a world where the loser wins.
Yes.
Like it's Pokemon. Like you can find an out no matter what.
True.
We're coming down to just the Pokemon and just kind of putting this in our heads kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a huge thing. Like,
yeah. All right. I hope you remember that in case I make a mistake with your boy.
Well, then I will burn your house down.
Hey, don't displace my roommate for my mistakes.
Okay, I'll burn your D&D collection down. There we go.
I will hunt you down. Anywho, moving on to Snorlax and Nidoqueen. So this one I don't think was too exciting. Snorlax beat Nidoqueen with 62% of the vote. And then going into the Seafoam Islands, Alakazam and Charizard. Charizard won it with 76%. I think that's just a case of Charizard just outclasses it.
Yeah.
In every aspect except for actual class. Just ask Ash. At least ask Ash before the Orange Islands.
Yeah.
Gyarados and Starmie. Here's one that's interesting, in my opinion.
Yes. Starmie
I know we had a discussion. I also had quite a discussion over text with one of our mutual friends who I don't have his consent to say his name online, so I'm not going to. Because he was the first person to vote for Starmie in this case. This is Gyarados' first real challenge, in my opinion. Yes, Starmie knows Thunder and other Thunder attacks. Yes, Starmie is faster. The problem with Starmie and with Thunder is not reliable. Whereas Gyarados can learn Crunch, which is 100% accurate and super effective against Starmie. And it's also a physical move, which Gyarados' physical attack is ridiculous.
Starmie lacks defenses.
Yes. So I will be the first to admit, hand on the Bible, sitting in the witness stand, there was a little bit of bias that went into my voting decision here, but I also had logic behind it. I went with Gyarados. Go ahead, Colton. I had to get my 2 cents in on this before.
Nope. Pokemario is right. Thunderbolt is what I was going to lean into here. Not Thunder, but Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt, Power Gem. But ultimately, the thing that holds Starmie back from, I think, getting a major lead on Gyarados is its terrible defenses. I personally had no issues in playing in my own games with Gyarados going up against Starmie. Like, Starmie's never been a threat until it's got a Mega Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And with its Mega Evolution now, yes. But even so, if we had both these guys Mega Evolve, Mega Gyarados becomes Dark type. That Crunch is now Stab.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Mega Starmie, it's
and it loses the flying type.
And it does lose
the 4 times weakness.
Yeah, that's the other thing. And then on top of that, Mega Starmie gets huge power, which doubles its attack stat. So you would have to very specifically train your Starmie in a way to take down a Mega Gyarados, which is going to be very difficult because its move pool of fighting physical moves is very limited, if it non-existent.
Yeah, and I am going to make a point. Yes, Thunderbolt is reliable, but Gyarados' special defense is nothing to balk at.
That's the thing.
It has respectable defense,
and that's the thing is like, and Starmie, like its special attack is pretty all right, but where Starmie shines at is in its speed, and its special attack's pretty good. Nothing really fantastic to look at though. Gyarados has good bulk. Gyarados has good attack,
and it has a super effective move.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying because we can say that they both have super effective.
Yes.
Starmie gets quad effective.
But it has that super effective move in the aspect of Starmie's weakness, which is its defense, and Gyarados' greatest strength. Yeah. So.
Well, Gyarados' greatest strength is its ability to intimidate, but that's besides the point.
Stats-wise, its greatest strength. But Gyarados did win. It got 83% of the vote. Gengar going toe-to-toe with another starter. In Blastoise, I think this was a case of people knew it was a glass cannon, and it was too much of a glass cannon, and Blastoise just blew it out of the water.
Which this one, I think it isn't a preference one. This is a more of a, oh yeah, Blastoise could totally do this, which is hilarious to me when you think about Venusaur and how Venusaur has all the advantage over Gengar.
Yeah. But Blastoise won it with 55% of the vote. So, I mean, it wasn't like Blastoise just slaughtered it. It was, pardon me. It was close.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Slowbro and Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl's speed finally got beat, and Slowbro beat it with 62%. Kingler and Flareon, yeah, like I said, that mistake doesn't really hurt much because Kingler just wrecked Flareon. Actually, I guess we're not going to talk about that.
I still think Raichu would have went over Flareon. So.
But Kingler won it with 72% of the vote. And then Dragonite and Jinx. This one was another one I could see going either way, with Jinx having all those Ice-type moves against the 4 times weakness on Dragonite, but Dragonite stats.
I mean, if you haven't gone through and played Gen 1 and gone against Lance and his multiple Dragonites, even with the super effective damage from Ice-type moves, they still stand in your face. It's even worse in Gold and Silver.
Yeah.
Like, the Dragonite is a surprisingly bulky Pokemon, and then when you put abilities on it, since it gets multi-skill, it reduces damage the first time it gets hit.
Yeah.
So you come in swinging with a super effective hit, first off, it's going to reduce that damage down and would take a possible OHKO down to maybe half its HP.
Yeah.
Which is an incredible thing. Dragonite is just an incredible start for the pseudo legendaries. And regardless of how dopey it looks, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah. Dragonite did ultimately win that one with 59% of the vote. So it was close, but it got it.
Lorelei can't beat Lance.
Yeah, no. So I'm going to move on to the Elite 8, which is back to the confines of the gyms. We're going to start with Dragonite and Kingler. Nothing fancy. Dragonite's Thunder. You got yourself a plate of crab on the dinner table.
Thunder Punch.
Yeah, Dragonite beat it.
It wins hands down.
It was 100% of the vote.
It's kind of sad. I would have given Kingler some opportunity there. Like, it has Guillotine, man. We go back to the OHKO moves.
Yeah. Blastoise and Slowbro. Blastoise did pull this one out with 73% of the vote. Gyarados and Charizard. I mean, 13% of you. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your family, and dishonor on your cow.
I'm sorry, there's no world where Charizard...
There is no world that Charizard stands a chance against Gyarados. Charizard learns no moves that are effective against it, to my knowledge. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Nope. Aside from going into Mega Forms, like I said before,
yes,
there's nothing that base Charizard has that could give it a 1-up on the Gyarados.
Yeah.
Base Charizard is just too frail compared to Gyarados.
Yeah. Something I should mention now that we are down to the final 8. So what I'm doing for each of the regions is that the top 8. I'm going to be the top 8 Pokemon from each region, with the exception of Kalos. Kalos is only going to be the top 4 because of how few Final Evolution Mons there are going to be going into another bracket once I'm done with this series, and the final bracket is going to be a showdown of the top Pokemon from each region. So this is the point where it actually really matters, because all of these Pokemon we're talking about now, they're going to be in the next bracket, in the final bracket.
In the final bracket.
So Yeah, Gyarados should have been 100%. And I love Charizard. He's not my second favorite Pokemon, but he's up in my top 5. So, and that's Snorlax and
He was my
Jolteon.
first starter, so.
You what?
He was my first starter.
Yeah, same. Snorlax and Jolteon. Snorlax won it with 73% of the vote.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, it's not surprising at all. So, moving on to the final 4. This is where we get the fun.
And of course, you have to have the shiny Gyarados.
Of course. I'm sorry. Red Gyarados just looks better than the blue one, in my opinion. So, and I found good. I like the picture. So,
yeah. So everybody should be having flashbacks to the Orange Island League.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Dragonite. I don't remember if the Snorlax fought Dragonite, but Snorlax was in there, I believe.
Yes.
Because I think, didn't Ash end up beating Snorlax with Lapras?
Geez, I'd have to go back and watch them. So I can't remember. The only thing I really can remember from that battle is Pikachu beating Dragonite.
Oh, it was Pikachu. That's right.
Yeah.
Lapras weakened it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up. You keep doing your thing.
Okay, so the first match is Dragonite versus Snorlax. The battle of 2 tanks. I don't really have much to say on this. Kolton, I don't know if you have anything that you want to say before. Hello. Let's see. Dragon on Dragon. Types are the hardest to beat. Yeah,
yes.
I mean,
especially when you're taking in consideration Gen 1 Mons.
Yes, Gen 1 Dragon
was so skewed to Dragonite.
Yeah.
Dragonites were the top dogs until we got fairy types. Now, if Wigglytuff or Clefairy made it through farther and actually got to Dragonite, that's where I would say Dragonite is going to have a problem. But until the inclusion of fairy types, it was dragon against. You have a dragon on your team, and somebody else had a dragon on your team, you're going to have a hard time.
Yes, I know who you are.
I was like, that's not my sister. Who are you talking about?
No, that's my sister. So yeah, but with this one, Dragonite won it with 68% of the vote. And then the battle of the two waters, Gyarados and Blastoise. This was another one that was actually kind of a challenge for Blastoise and comparatively. But Gyarados, again, I think it just came down to its stats. Stats just would be too much for Blastoise. Plus the fact that Gyarados can learn Thunder-type moves.
Well, and the other thing, too, is coming from the VGC perspective, out of these 4 on here, Gyarados, by far and large, has the... Well, I wouldn't put it over Dragonite. Dragonite, I think, has a little bit more acclaim under its belt than Gyarados does, especially in recent years with Scarlet and Violet. But Gyarados, it tends to be more prominent in lower tier, lower power formats because of its base stats, because of its ability. It's an amazing supporter Pokemon when it comes to the VGC side of things. Especially considering VGC is specifically in double battles. And that's why I keep saying Intimidate. It's one thing. And it's not its one thing, but Intimidate in single fights isn't a huge deal. It helps Gyarados, especially Well, not going up against Blastoise, because Blastoise would lean more towards its special attack and its physical. But that's why you look at Gyarados versus Blastoise. Blastoise hasn't been able to climb the way Gyarados has, or Dragonite, or even Snorlax has over the years in VGC competitively. It just doesn't have the oomph behind it. Its stats are right. It's good. It's a fairly good bulky wall kind of Pokemon. Its typing is good, but it really needed a secondary typing in order to make it really good. And then it comes down to like the move pool that it can get, and then its abilities, which it pales in comparison to what Gyarados can pull out.
Yeah. So yeah.
Sorry, I had to give my spiel of VGC stuff.
You're good. You're good. But Gyarados did beat Blastoise with 73% of the vote. So going to be moving on a little bit. So that was a simulation I ran. I ran that equal level, didn't tamper with base stats, nothing like that. Optimal move sets. So there's your proof. Gyarados would beat Dragonite.
I never said I won it. I've beaten Dragonite with Gyarados, and I've beaten Gyarados with Dragonite. What's your point?
I needed to show that because so many people I know, they're just like, Dragonite would wipe the floor with Gyarados. It has Thunder, 4 times weakness.
It's one of those things that it can go either way. It really depends. It depends on the speed. And let's just look. This is something I didn't look up.
This is one that I know. Gyarados and Dragonite speed. Gyarados' speed is 81. Dragonite's is 80.
Oh, so it's 1 point higher.
It's 1 point higher, so it just barely edges Dragonite out with speed, which is what gives it that edge. It also does have Ice Fang, quadruple weakness, or quadruple damage to Dragonite. So it's like, for people who are all, Dragonite would wipe the floor with Gyarados. No, it wouldn't just wipe the floor with Gyarados. It would be a fight. I'm not saying Gyarados would win 100% of the time. But what I am saying is Gyarados has a dang good chance of beating it. Now, if Ice Fang isn't enough to one-shot it, then it could get tricky. Yes, Gladerade is right. Gyarados can also learn Dragon-type moves like Outrage, which is 120 power and 100% accuracy. But so that's my thing. I had to make sure that I made the argument for my boy.
Oh, no. Like, I wholeheartedly agree. Like, when it comes down to it, if anybody's played through Gold and Silver and carried that shiny Gyarados with them throughout the entire game, you know how, especially in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, when Gyarados actually gets Ice Fang, how great of an asset that Gyarados is against Lance's Dragonites. And then, Legalian there. Intimidate this is one of those moments where it really plays a huge role. Dragonite's attack stat is where it leans into. So, it gets Thunder, but Thunder Punch is where it would want to attack with, because it would actually do more consistently with Thunder Punch than it would with Thunder. But no, like this is very much down to, it could go either way, a flip of the coin. And this comes down to the trainers and how they train their Pokemon in particular. Because there are worlds where Dragonite 9 times out of 10 will beat Gyarados, and vice versa.
Yep.
It just strictly depends on the training and on the trainer themselves. But in a vacuum where this is just the Pokemon, they meet in the wild kind of deal, I'd lean Gyarados.
Yeah. That's very refreshing for me to hear, because I honestly was thinking you were going to be one who was going Dragonite.
So. I love Dragonite. I always give you problems with Gyarados just because I think it's funny. But no, Gyarados is a terrific Pokemon. It was not a terrific Pokemon back in Gen 1, Gen 2 days because of the physical and special, how they did that. But Dragonite wasn't that useful either in Gen 1, Gen 2. You had Dragon Rage.
Yeah.
That's it. I can't remember when Dragon Breath became a thing. I can't remember if it was Gen 2 or not. But
I think it was Gen 2. I could be wrong, but I vaguely remember.
Yeah, even so, Dragon-type moves were still considered special.
Mm-hmm.
So Dragonite's attack stat really wasn't doing it any good. It just ultimately came down to the abilities here. And even with multi-scale on the Dragonite to help limit the damage that it was taking, which, by the way, did you put multi-scale on the Dragonite in your simulation?
Do what?
Did you put multi-scale on the Dragonite in your simulation?
Let's see. That's its ability, right?
Yeah.
Which negates Gyarados' Intimidate?
No. So Inner Focus would negate Intimidate.
That was the one I was thinking.
Okay, so yeah. So multi-scale, it as long as the Pokemon's at full HP, it helps have the damage that it would take.
Mm-hmm.
But like we were saying, Gyarados has that little bit of speed advantage, and then once it hits through and takes Dragonite down with one attack, the multi-scale is broken, so the next hit is going to be unaffected by multi-scale. Whereas Dragonite, if it does have multi-scale, Gyarados has Intimidate. Dragonite's attack stat has just dropped one stage. So it's doing 1.5 times less than what it would be doing regularly.
Yeah.
So that in your simulation, even with multi-scale on it, it probably would survive. I would put it probably about a third of its HP left after that attack. But it hits back with a Thunder Punch.
It probably would have been Thunder Punch.
Which is a base 75 attack. But also goes off the attack stat, which is being dropped down by Gyarados' Intimidate. So, Yeah.
Yep. Well, I'll be honest. I haven't looked at the results for this. I wanted this to be a surprise for me as much as it is for everyone else. So,
how much you want to bet it's going to be Dragonite?
That's what I've been banking on, honestly.
I will be surprised either way, in all honesty. So
yeah, I mean they're both solid. There's a reason they're both in the championship, because they are just that good. And I mean, even if Gyarados didn't have to go up, even if Gyarados went up against its potential number 1 seed opponent in Arcanine, it would just run through Arcanine for the same reason it ran through Charizard. So, but no. So the results of Dragonite versus Gyarados are, I wish I had a drum roll effect.
There you go.
Dragonite did win it with 51% of the vote.
That is a narrow mark, and that's what I was saying.
I won't complain about that. I figured Dragonite would win it by a lot more than that, just if for no other reason than people would think back to their Gen 1 days, their red, blue, yellow playthroughs or their gold, silver playthroughs, and Lance's Dragonite with freaking Thunder.
Yeah.
So I have no qualms with that. Dragonite is the Kanto Region champion. It squeezed past the goat of water types from Gen 1. Both of them, of course, are going to be in the final bracket. I do want to, again, thank everybody who participated in the voting for these. I will be getting the Johto bracket done either tonight or tomorrow morning and get that first round posted for people. I'll post it in the comments here on YouTube, as well at least for the first round. After that, then I'll most likely just have the concurrent rounds and the descriptions for each round going forward. For the Johto region, I will just give a little bit of a sneak peek to the Johto region by telling everyone what our number 1 seeds are.
I expect everybody to let Sunflora win at least one time.
Who's Sunflora going up against? You never know. So your number 1 seeds for the Johto region are Tyranitar, Typhlosion, Pharrell. Nope, those 2 were number 2 seeds. My bad. Tyranitar, Crobat, Blissey, and Kingdra.
Oh, Kingdra.
So those are the 1 seeds going into Johto. Again, I want to thank everyone who voted. Kolton, thank you for participating in this. I'm looking forward to the discussion for the Johto region. I'm hoping that my coworker will be able to figure something out. Hello, that's the wrong button. That actually works out. I'm hoping my coworker, who is also very much a Poke fanatic, will be able to join us for that one. We've talked about it a little bit, but I really want the 2 of you to be involved with Johto because both of you have your favorite Pokemon in Johto, and I think if one of the brackets goes the way I think it will. I really, really want to hear this discussion between the 2 of you.
Well, you outed mine, so you got to out his.
I'll leave that as a surprise.
Oh, okay. So feud against Tyranitar.
For the record, I wasn't really thinking when I outed T-Tar, so. But yeah. So
okay, hands down the best Rock and Dark type. Hands down. Period.
I won't argue with you. I don't dare argue with you in that regard. But yeah, thank you everyone who participated and for watching. If you enjoyed this, leave a like and feel free to follow the channel. I look forward to seeing how the rest of the series goes with the different regions, and I hope everyone has a fantastic night. Bye-bye now.